So we've come to Altanha, which means stone rock water. This Mayan site, what it's known for was an incredible abundance of jade in amongst these ruins. So not the biggest, but likely a very wealthy part of the Mayan civilization. It's pretty awesome. This might be a tourist tour, but it's a pretty awesome one. I can be a tourist too, you know. I always think about who laid that cornerstone right there. Somebody put that there a couple thousand years ago and started building along with a bunch of others until it just kept going up and up and up, and you end up with these temples. When you're looking at these 6-ton blocks that look like they were put in place by a child in terms of how they were played with, but put in place by an incredible otherworldly expert in terms of how they fit together. Beautiful building blocks. So cool. I just love when history's really ancient. You ask me, there were some pretty seriously advanced civilizations a couple of 100,000 years ago that knew stuff we still don't know today. And we get to see little glimpses of them here and there. So maybe it's not here with the Mayans, but before the Mayans, for sure. Survivorman, absolutely. Now we've got Göbekli Tepe. This is awesome. Oh, here you go. Here's behind the scenes of the Mayan temple. It's an ancient Mayan weed whacker. They unearthed that in one of the tombs here. Ever since then, they fired it up and it still works. It doesn't need gas or anything. Just say a certain Mayan prayer and you're whacking weeds and keeping the temples clean. Hard to believe it, but there's mosquitoes. Oh man, you get mosquitoes? I'm getting them all over me. They're liking me for some reason. They don't usually like me, but they're liking me today. Oh my goodness, that's a lot of mosquitoes right there. Wow. Whew. Look at that. As soon as I got out of the breeze, it was like a mosquito nest. Yes, on occasion, I do get bugged by them, and I think I'm backing away. Whew. Wow, they're hungry. With this rich Canadian blood, that's the problem. Let's think how many people walked up these temples thousands of years ago. That's pretty freaking cool. So we have found ourselves to yet another Mayan temple, Mayan town site, if you will. Ancient town sites, ancient villages, 2,000 plus years old. Weed whackers. Now for accuracy, these are actually coated over replicas. The real hieroglyphics they're in behind and they're exactly like this, but they put a coating on them to preserve them. That's why they're so perfect. Okay, so as much as I absolutely love watching ants, I was standing right in the middle of them and getting bitten big time. I don't know if you can see them or not from here. And I'm walking on my toes really quickly. Ooh. Holy, they're on the move. Getting bit, getting bit. Oh, one bit my calf and it's burning. Ouch, 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 ouch. Oh, that's burning. Okay, I can't resist. I'm gonna try this. This could be a really big mistake on my part, but let's see if I can film these ants. Yeah, I'm totally geeking out here, but I've nerded out on ants my whole life. I don't know why. When I finally came upon a bullet ant nest in Ecuador, I mean a bullet ant nest, you don't get to see those very often. My understanding is they've got between only 60 and 100 ants. That's how big they are. And of course, you know, most painful sting and bite on the planet. So let's give this a try. I got falcons and birds, termite nests way up there, and a bunch of ants. This tiny little corner in the middle of this Mayan ruin. Lots of fun. Okay, so we're still just kind of touring around Belize, and we're being tourists now. Sort of done with all the filming, so now we're in tourist mode, which is actually kind of a lot of fun. Nice and relaxed. There's Kim coming in. And we tried to drive to Thousand Foot Falls yesterday, and yeah, that's not possible. Not in a two-wheel drive vehicle. No signs, no anything. Nobody told us not to do it. So this morning I asked, can we go down to the Caracol ruins, and not in a two-wheel drive. So we've just quickly hired this dude right here.
Hello, I'm Lloyd.
Lloyd?
Lloyd.
That's Lloyd. Now we're going to Caracol. We'll see you there. Pretty intriguing stuff. All this here, this section is yet to be excavated, and they are going to come here and excavate it. They first start with herbicides so that all the trees actually rot down into the ground, and they can gently and easily pull all of the trees away from this, and then they can start excavating because they know there's another palace underneath this spot right here. This would be considered the downtown Caracol, basically. The Mayan civilization that was in this area, 150,000 odd people. They had these long causeways, consider them like roads, where the upper echelons would be able to walk on. It goes something like 21 miles, I think. It's really intriguing stuff. This is awesome, actually. Crazy stuff going on here. You got all different faces, different gods, faces. Serpent god here. I realize this represents white-tailed deer. And over there. And what you find out about these ruins is that they become as big as they do because every time they're conquered, the new conquerors add on to the sides, to the tops, add on, add on, add on, add on. And that's why they end up becoming, after a couple of thousand years, these multi-layered ruins. Well, those aren't Canada geese. Well, I'm not going to find out if those ants sting, but I'll bet they do. First of all, because there's red. I've never met a red ant yet that didn't bite or sting pretty nicely. So, just going up the stairs here. So the story goes, the steps are, they assume, built the way they're built, not only for supporting the building, but also as you go up, you're kind of forced to bow down. So it's sort of prostrating yourself towards going up to the heavens kind of thought. You have to use your hands and your feet. Maybe bowing down to someone big and important, I suppose. So they think this hole here, if you look through it, if there were no trees there, this is supposedly to study the North Star. So this is the astrological temple we're in right now, where buildings or certain portions of the buildings line up with the summer and winter solstice. And this one here is for the North Star. This one here has a dead bird in it. This wood up here, that's the original wood. Now sometimes there's places, lots of places here where the beams have been put in for support, but that's the original wood. Chiclet tree, Zapodiba, which is dated to 17 AD. These were all tombs. This kind of thing, if you stay here long enough and really focus on it, it starts to get a little creepy. Come and spend a night down there. I'd do that. Story, but there's so much deforestation going on in Guatemala right now that you can see way over there the cow pastures of Guatemala. That's Guatemala over there. Well, I'm in Belize, because the reality is that Belize, fortunately, has not yet destroyed its natural resources, its jungles, for cattle deforestation. Everywhere else has happened. Guatemala, huge cattle deforestation, and of course that raises the temperature. Destroys everything. So the primary food here is, when you come here, you don't get red meat on the table instantly. The first sources are always going to be chicken and pork, because they want to stay away and keep you away from the red meat habit, which just ends up destroying the forest to feed the cattle. That's an old story now, and a sad one. So what's really incredibly cool about all this is they say replica and instantly think, oh, really? It's just a replica? But what it is actually is, this is fiberglass right over top of the original. So it's only a tiny thin layer of fiberglass. So you basically are looking at the original, which is kind of mind-blowing. Really spectacular. You can see up here, so you got your 2 eyes, face, teeth. Right. Another one, 2 eyes, nose. Another one, 3 different god faces. The white-tailed deer, serpent. It just goes on and on. Wouldn't it be intriguing to see if there's any connection to the ancient Mayan ruins and the ingesting of sacred sacrament, if you will? Obviously, potentially here, ayahuasca or San Pedro, but anyway, interesting to ponder. Okay, so check this out. It has 14 different faces on it. This one here is of a monkey, right? And it's just, it's just spectacular, this stone. It's like an encyclopedia. It's a storytelling. They haven't been able to decipher it yet, okay? But want to know the real story behind it? Yeah, it's made out of fiberglass. What it is it's an exact replica of the stone and all the etchings and all the rest of it. But the original, apparently it's somewhere in a museum in Pennsylvania. So if you see this in Pennsylvania in a museum sometime, you know, put it in your backpack and bring it back here, so that when you come here, you don't have to look at a piece of fiberglass. I got to say though, the fiberglass technique, I got to hand it, is pretty is a pretty cool way of preserving stuff. Now, after everything I just said there, I will also say this, because we were just talking with the guide about it. He says, you know, but how far are you going to go? Because the truth and the reality is that a long time ago, some wealthy American came down here, had funding behind him, was able to spend the time and the money on doing these archaeological digs properly and uncovering these items. So yeah, they took some of the best stuff back to the United States. That's absolutely true. But if he hadn't, it might have just fallen to some backhoe sometime when some farmer wanted to come here and clear all of this, which happens all the time. Or relic hunters come in with backhoes and knock down ruins, digging in with a big backhoe to try and find jade. So, yep, the original's in Pennsylvania in a museum, but the story is still here. And that's the magic in all this, and the cool part. Just imagine being here, I don't know, 30s or sometime like that, and discovering something like this. That'd be mind-blowing. And there are thousands more like this, still completely buried under the jungle throughout Belize and Guatemala and Mexico. Imagine that. There's lots of room for being a new archaeologist today. The world has not lost its mystery. There's still so much more to discover and learn.